But back to this Thomas Hauser DAZN article. What's happened to DAZN Part 2? I'm just going to read a few excerpts from it because it's a huge article. And again, a lot of it is stuff that we've covered. Quote from this article: one industry source says that an early DAZN financial model anticipated that the streaming service could have as many as 3.5 million subscribers in the United States by the end of 2019. Another well-placed source says that DAZN now has roughly 8 million subscribers worldwide, and approximately 800,000 of these are in the United States. Obviously, if that is true, huge mark that was missed in 2019. DAZN has telecast 3 Canelo Alvarez fights, blah, 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 blah. The retention rate for viewers who signed up for DAZN at the time of each of these fights has risen from fight to fight. DAZN ends 2019 with approximately 20% of its subscribers on an annual plan. I think that's all really good news, that you see a positive change, positive growth from fight to fight, and you have a 20% rate of your subscribers attached annually. I think that's positive news overall. It's common for the company to get into business knowing that it will lose money while establishing itself. On July 8th, 2019, Bloomberg.com reported that DAZN had lost. Rob's sending stuff in the chat, I think, because it moved. You did, right? Okay, it freaked me out there for a second. On July 8th, 2019, Bloomberg.com reported that DAZN had lost $627 million worldwide in 2018. That's bad.
I hate it when that happens.
I hate when I lose over $600 million in 1 year.
Yeah, worldwide as well. You got to go looking for it. And shit.
That was good, Rob. One can put a smile face on this number by noting that the negative cash flow of Netflix in 2019 is estimated at $3.5 billion. But obviously, Netflix has built a colossus, and at the moment, DAZN's brand in and of itself is worth relatively little. I do like the whole, hey, Netflix coming up to DAZN saying, hey, that's a nice debt right there. Hold my beer. I got this. With $3.5 billion, but I will say $627 million in debt, so to speak, or losing $627 million in 1 year, significant. Definitely on the level of that PBC loss that was talked about for some time, and that definitely affected how they ran their corporation and their operation for some time.
Is that just from Len Blavnik's pocket, though? Is it?
Yes, but we're going to get to a part of Len's aspect of Len Blavnik and sort of his investment. Next part, actually. That pit no longer seems bottomless. Midway through 2019, there was industry talk that Len Blavnik was unwilling to put any more of his own money into DAZN. On October 24th, Bloomberg.com reported that Goldman Sachs was trying to raise $500 million in private investment on DAZN's behalf. In November, the ante was up to $1 billion. So, we reported on that, I think, a few months ago, right? Obviously, in October, when that news came out. And you see that Len Blavnik, I think, is clear that he's done losing money, and they're trying to get investment from other sources, a la Goldman Sachs. Due to that year in 2018, you see 2018, they lose over $600 million. And then the next year, 2019, they're looking for $1 billion in investment, or $500 million to $1 billion in investment. Significant. Also, John Skipper, came in with the idea that he could make DAZN the ESPN of streaming video. The network's plan were summarized by Executive President of North America, Joe Murkowski, who in October told Sports Business Journal, quote, "Our strategy in the United States is to use boxing as an entry point to establish ourselves in the market, make a lot of noise, and generate a transactional relationship with a large audience of boxing fans. If we're successful in doing that in the next 12 to 18 months, we'll put ourselves in a fantastic position to make aggressive plays for a domestic top 3 rights package when they come back to the market." Now, that is all of the major sort of excerpts from this article that I found interesting. I thought maybe either any of us could discuss on the show, or just I want our audience to be made aware of some of these things. But again, some of this is stuff that we've covered in the past. Gary, Rob, any comments on any of Thomas Hauser's part 2 on his sort of huge expose on DAZN and whether or not it's viable long term. Gary,
It seems to me that it's not viable, but I don't know. Like I don't know how, like especially like tech companies. I don't know what we're considering DAZN at this point. Never ever make a profit, but they're all billion-dollar companies. Like if you look at Philips, right, like the televisions, they've never had a year where they've made money. How's that possible? You know what I'm saying? Like this doesn't make it. It's always with tech companies. I don't know how they are able to cook the books like this. Especially DAZN can cook their books because they're private, right? But like companies like Philips can't because it's publicly traded. So how are you able to justify? I've never made a profit for all these years, but I'm still in business. I don't know how bad that is, how bad the books are cooked. I don't know, but just telling me that I've lost this much money, I don't know how they get out of that. And again, I know they can sustain it for a while because they have so much cash, but why do you want to keep sustaining a loser, right? Just like as a stock, if something's a dog with fleas, you got to sell. You got to just cut your losses and say that this isn't what I thought it was.
I mean, I'll say this. Like you said, like you prefaced your comment with my answer, like tech companies and companies overall right now are operating at huge losses, and they're seemingly getting by. How is that possible? I don't know. Like, I'm not a corporate expert here or an economics professor. Like, I'm just not that guy. But what is clear is that they're losing money. They're looking for outside investment. But then again, that is the norm now in companies in this space, right? I mean, Thomas Hauser does a really good job of like comparing it to like Amazon in like the 90s and how they didn't, make money, as Gary says, for a very, very long time. They went public in 97, didn't see a profit till like 2005 or 6, something like that. So companies operate at huge losses for very long periods of time if there's investment, right? I don't know why, as Gary says, if these investors are losing money, why they keep investing, but they do, Gary. It's a weird paradigm we're living in right now. We're like Netflix is in $3.5 billion in debt right now. Billion with the B. That's massive. But it's also such a huge colossus, so imagine that company folding. I think maybe it's just a huge, giant tech bubble that is still here. I remember there was huge talks about the tech bubble bursting like maybe 5-10 years ago, something like that. But maybe that bubble really didn't burst, and we're still in a huge tech bubble. And it's even maybe the tech bubble's evolved. I don't know. But clearly, DAZN is at a stage where losing money doesn't matter to them, unfortunately. Or fortunately. I don't know. Depends how you view it. Quickly, for Ben Media, a.k.a. Lazy Lefty on Twitter, saying, here come the UK trolls. What up, Matt, with the super chat. Thank you, for Ben Media and Lazy Lefty. He's saying comparing Netflix and DAZN or Amazon DAZN isn't a good comparison. Well, it's not a good comparison now, but we're comparing companies that are decades into their operating,
Why are those not good comparisons? I mean,
because
compare 12 months in, 15 months in. Do you
know Netflix numbers 12 months into their operation? I don't.
But I'm saying compare to DAZN and see where Netflix was 12 months, and compare to Netflix.
No. That is absolutely fine. I think often people compare them now, and that's a very hard comparison to do because Rob has brought this up a lot. That it's every company is going to lose money in their first operating years. I mean, that's a common defense for DAZN, and it's a good defense for DAZN. Yes, that's absolutely true. I just don't know Amazon. I know Amazon was losing money for their first decade plus of operation. So this isn't... The alarm bells for DAZN as a whole are not up for me. Because we've talked about them being successful in other markets, it seems. Right? And even Hauser says in his article, look, DAZN can operate as a niche streaming service in the U.S. and have be big in other markets and be a huge company and make millions and be fine long term. If that's what they're trying to do. If they're trying to be a huge mainstream entity in the U.S. and failing at that, then that's where you lose a lot of money, right? So I don't know. To get back to the whole Amazon Netflix comparison, I just think it's hard to compare them now, a modern Amazon Netflix, and I'm not well versed enough in old school Netflix metrics and what numbers they were doing in terms of revenue. Other than they were probably losing money. Rob, I know you've been a little bit silent on this topic.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, just interesting points. I guess I just feel it's just very early days now. I don't like you guys were saying. Like to us, it seems like the worst business in the world. Why would you run with all this? But I don't know. You speculate to accumulate, I guess. But I think the big year is
Bar.
like coming up 21 or whatever, with the other big sports rights coming up, becoming available. So I don't know. I've just I don't know. I seem to get the DAZN Defender tag, but I don't know. It just seems like a lot of people are ready to I don't know, not let it do its thing. They want it to not. I don't know. It's weird, but I just sort of think they're just a new thing coming in, and like you said, you're gonna have to throw a whole heap of money at it to get it up and running. Otherwise, I mean, look, they entered the market with boxing. Whether people think that's a good idea, but it's not like they could come in and say, look, we've got every NFL game, because those rights weren't available. So they came in with boxing, and we know, despite our bubble, and we think the whole world revolves around boxing, but when we actually try and look from the outside looking in, it's like this minute part of the world's entertainment. Is only I think I said it before, like you look across Showtime and like Fox, and back in the day with HBO, there seemed to be like, I don't know, within like a million sort of US, like kind of like, whether it's, X amount of hardcores, a certain amount of fairly regular kind of casuals, and then full casuals. Now, depending on the fight, you're looking at, I don't know, 1 point whatever million would perhaps buy a pay-per-view. But like normal fights, the viewing figures, it seemed to be in a ballpark. Like there's only so many kind of like boxing fans. Now, if you're a DAZN subscriber, you're basically buying it for boxing, right? You're not, there's not really much else on there, right? I don't think the recent darts tournament over here in the UK was a big draw for Americans to like, I'm going to get DAZN. They've got the World Championship darts. You're a boxing fan. If you're a boxing fan, you've got DAZN. So I don't know. They need to get more content. That's without a doubt, and I think they will. I don't know what it will be. I think they'll get some part of one of the big sports over there, whether it's full rights to X amount of games, or because I believe I've sort of read something they're going to maybe, like, DAZN might get X amount of live games throughout the season as a regular. Amazon are going to get a bunch of stuff. It's kind of going to.
There's some rumors that they're going to split up everything. There's some rumors that like everything.
Yeah,
get a
so
bit of
we'll have to see. But I think, I don't know, like the trajectory of these kind of businesses, but like you say, Netflix, huge. Seems everybody's got a Netflix account, yet they're, what was it,
$3.5 billion in debt last year.
Yeah, I mean, how can that work? I don't know, but it does. It's not like Netflix said, "Look, we're fucked. We got to flick the switch and turn this off. We can't do this anymore." I'm sorry, but I don't know. So I guess somehow smarter people than myself see it working, and if such and such lands, and if we get I guess there's a business. I don't think they're just blindly in here just throwing money. I think there's kind of a plan to it, but how it pans out, I don't know. It seems unsustainable to normal people, but we're not millionaire corporations or anything like that. So
I will say this: they may have a plan, and the plan could still be bad. You know what I mean? And also, a good point. Ben Media, aka Lazy Lefty, saying Netflix, Amazon didn't have competition. I'm adding this part to his statement. When they started out, DAZN has to compete with established behemoths like DAZN, Amazon, Disney, Apple for content. There is.
I
Let me finish. Let me finish. There is an aspect to that Netflix and Amazon were innovative products and businesses that offered something very new to the marketplace. There is an argument that DAZN offers nothing new to the marketplace. And that's a distinct difference than when Netflix started out, Amazon started out, these huge mega companies we talk about now, because they were innovative. Is DAZN truly innovative in this space? I don't think so. Gary, I know you're about to jump in there, so I just wanted to finish my thought.
That's not true. Amazon was started as a bookstore. It wanted to be the best bookstore that could get you any book within whatever it was, like 72 hours, right? That was their goal. They had to take on Dalton Books, and what was the other bookstore's name? I don't even remember what they were called, but there were two major bookstores.
Well, like you mean like actual like stores like Barnes and Noble?
Barnes and Nobles, and I think
Borders
books. Okay, those were the two major ones. They said no one's ever going to step into a bookstore again because of us. That was their goal. So their original competition with those two major bookstores, they were going to put book cafes out of business, and they kind of did.
But Gary, I think you're missing the point here. Amazon came into the marketplace that was like actual physical stores and said those are going to be gone. Right. We're going to go online. That's innovative. DAZN coming in here and saying we're going to put sports online. That's being done right now. That's not innovative. That's the distinction I think that Ben Media is making, that I think is the one that's important here to make.
The major sports, baseball, basketball, football. Do most people watch it or stream it? I know you can do both. I'm saying, what do you? I'm saying most people watch it. Do you think I'm wrong about that?
Wait, when you stream it, do you not watch it?
He means terrestrial TV.
TV. Good point, Rob.
I think most people obviously watch on TV still.
So DAZN is trying to get rid of cable. They're trying to get rid of that. I get Hulu and other things are in that, but their niche is sports. We're going to take sports fans, not movie fans, not television fans.
But again, Gary, ESPN Plus opened before DAZN. So like you really have the behemoth jumping the gun before DAZN entered the space.
That's true.
So you know what I mean? Like that would be like let's say if
with more content, but a shittier app, right?
Oh, much shittier. Oh my god.
So they're innovative apart, as far as they're working
in terms of not in terms of display. That's in user interface. No, they're not innovative. That's absolutely true, Rob. But in terms of moving sports to the streaming sphere, DAZN missed the boat. That would be like if Barnes and Noble opened up a massive online shopping outlet, so to speak, that was Amazon before Amazon was created, or before Amazon entered the marketplace. That would be a true comparison, but that wasn't true back then. Barnes and Noble and Borders had to play catch up to Amazon, and they started creating websites and started selling books online, but they were playing catch up to the innovative new kid on the block.
Yeah, no, I agree. You're right. There's ESPN. I forgot ESPN app came around first. You're right about that. It wasn't much longer, but it's probably 2-3 months, 4 months, maybe 6 months.
Now, if DAZN somehow have it that they don't have to pay what they owe the taxman as well, maybe they will survive. Amazon make all that money and don't pay a dime, right? So
that is true. When you don't pay taxes, it's easy to lose money.
Although, who the fuck buys a book anymore? Come on, let's be honest.
But we talked about SEC football. College football, one of the biggest conferences in college football, most likely going to ESPN. We brought up, Pac-12 being probably the other big conference you could pick up if you're DAZN. But like Rob mentioned, 2021, 2022, 2023, a lot of rights open up, and it's a make it or break it moment in the marketplace. Just like I think to a degree, Champions League in the UK, before they even entered the marketplace, that was a huge blow to them not getting that and BT getting it. It was. And not saying that they can't survive, not saying they can't be a company within these markets, but it's hard to be the ESPN of sports streaming, which is what they literally said.
Netflix.
ESPN. To quote. I just read it.
Who said that?
They've said Netflix and ESPN. They've said both.
Oh.
They have said both.
Okay.
I think it was Joe Makovsky. I can go back and
All right, because I think
it's in the chat
first
too. It's in the
mission
chat.
statement was the Netflix of sports, right?
Yes. No, right here. Skipper came in with the idea that he can make DAZN the ESPN streaming video.
Oh, okay. But
They have said both. They have said 100%.
losing money is the thing. Maybe they are the Netflix of sports.
That is true. I see what you said there, Rob.
Just early days.
Any other thoughts though on DAZN? I mean, I know this is a topic that we've talked about a lot. It's a topic that obviously we're going to talk about for a long time because it's a huge entity in this space, and it's one that's going to be evolving obviously as the years roll on.
I mean, me and you have beat this topic up for a while now. So Rob's the Matchroom / DAZN fanboy, even though he doesn't have DAZN. So I mean, let's give him final thought. I would say, right?
I basically do have DAZN. Well, for the boxing anyway. We get what you get, kind of. Just we don't have Chris Mannix and Sergio Mora and shit like that.
You guys don't get the Golden Boy cards though.
No, true, but oh well.
Hey, Hector Tanahara is fighting. Don't you dare disrespect his name.
Yeah, but as you said yesterday about Golden Boy, we get the Canelo fight. All right, that's it. That's all that matters. We get the Canelo fight.
We went yesterday's entire show without ever mentioning Hector Tanahara. I think that's the first since I've been on.
It might be.
Did you bang your head or something?
Are you okay, Gary?
No, I went back and listened, and I was like shocked. Like we didn't mention Tanahara not one time.
Do we mention Ortiz? Figueroa?
Yes, we mentioned Ortiz because I said Ortiz is the number 3 ranked WBO welterweight, so we could get a Ortiz Crawford fight.
Oh, that's right. And I was like, yeah, sure, all right, good one.
Then you said something about pay-per-view numbers that 10%, that's good, right? And then you expect Wilder Fury to get like a 50% bump with your prediction of what was it, 700,000?
It's not 50% bump. It's a 100% jump.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what I mean.
Double. Yeah. I know what you meant, but yeah.
Matt picked 100% bump. Or you picked 500,000? Or you picked less than that?
No, he said like 4.
I said 4.
So okay, I mean that's still 3%.
He said 700.
700. You got both guys are bigger names. Fury was exposed to the WWE market, which has 5 million live viewers every week. Yeah, I think he gets 200,000. I don't think that's okay.
I just don't think Americans like boxing anymore, to be honest. They just paying for it anyway.
Did Canelo do 1 million pay-per-view buys?
That's Canelo.
But that's the American market. Rob said Americans don't like boxing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, not now. It's $20 from DAZN. They're fine with it.
I mean, you could be right. I mean,
I don't know. Who knows?
Trolling so well.
There's just no who's doing it. There's when's the next $1 million US pay-per-view for $75? What is that fight?
Floyd Mayweather versus pick a guy.
Versus
pick a guy. Where's he from?
Thailand.
Okay.
I'm sorry, that was bad.
But yeah, DAZN, I guess it's a wait and see thing. Personally, they keep doing things that make you sort of go, oh, well, that might be, I think they're surprising people, but it's also people then go, but how can they possibly sustain this? Do you know what I mean?
Well, it's the thing. They cannot sustain it, period, until they get big sports. Until they get the actual top 3 sports, not including the NHL because they don't count.
Nobody cares about hockey.
I'm sorry. If it's Canada, that matters. If it's Minnesota, it matters. If it's the U.S., it doesn't. And until they do, I think this conversation is going to persist. And plus, I think they will get regulated to a niche streaming service because boxing's a niche market. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those weird things. Like boxing was obviously the cheap, easy thing to buy up, right? Or to be a part of when they jump into the U.S. market.
It was available, right? It was
available. But it's a very niche market. So it's one that they could easily tap into and get some exposure and some marketing from. But it's also one that very much limits you. And speaking from our own business, it's a spike business. So that means is that we hit spikes. So you get spikes of a Canelo fight. Spikes of an AJ Ruiz fight, right? You get certain spikes where numbers are amazing. Everything else, very low. We have that.
Yeah.
So it's very hard to get
on shows about viewing figures, right?
Yes.
We go like Gervonta Davis, like recently. Wow, done really good number. Jamal Charlo, oh fuck, it's just peaks and troughs constantly. But it just depends on the fight. And I wish promoters would look at that like, oh, we only done 250. Yeah, but because it was a shit fight. I'm sorry, but
agreed. And because of that, it's very hard to get steady, consistent growth because of that. Because 1 week or 1 month it's a Canelo fight, right? And another month it's Andrade Keeler. And I mean, no offense to Andrade Keeler and anyone involved in that card, but to the audience that DAZN is trying to attract, one of those attracts them. The other one they have no clue about. And that's just a harsh reality.
Yeah, you're so harsh on Andrade. Fuck.
Hey, but I said he could beat a lot of. I said he could beat Triple G now. I mean, you guys can't be that mean mad about me for hating on Andrade.
He can beat Canelo.
He cannot beat Canelo. No, he can't. No.
You got to get the fight to beat Canelo.
Yo, didn't you wait? Hold on, Gary. Didn't you think that Charlo beats Andrade?
Oh,
you're about to get into logical pretzel here, aren't you?
No, I mean, I'm gonna pick Charlo because he's my boy. Do I really think he can beat Andrade? He can't outbox him. You would need to catch him. Andrade gets lazy at times. I don't know that he can beat Andrade. Andrade might outbox him.
Yeah.
Canelo's hope would be that he catches him with something big.
Is that Canelo's hope as well?
Yeah.
And Matthew D'Souza is saying that is why DAZN introduced YouTubers. And I'm saying YouTubers are not sports. So that's why that experiment will not work, because they're trying to attract sports fans. Let me tell you, there are no NFL fans or no NBA fans or no MLB fans that give a flying fuck about Jake Paul. And that's not a sustainable long-term business. That's always been my point. So don't bring up YouTubers as how, that's DAZN diversifying their portfolio. No, it's not. It's a short-term spike they're looking for in social media marketing. That's it.
Don't they do esports?
I will slap the little hair off your head.
No, Matt. DAZN is going to get YouTube fans into boxing by selling them on this, and then they'll be boxing fans for life. Don't you know anything?
That was probably possibly the most sarcastic fucking line you've ever done.
Moving on. Come on, Matt. There's 2 really good fights on the card. No, Leonard, I think you misunderstood my point. It's a good card for boxing fans because it has Farmer Diaz, it has Roman. I'm not gonna pronounce that name. It's a good card for boxing fans. What I'm saying is that for the audience that DAZN is trying to attract, the casual sports fan, not boxing fan, casual sports fan. Please listen to my words, Leonard. I feel like a lot of you people do not listen to what I'm saying. You listen to what you want.
You people,
UK listeners. I'm being specific here. Yes, I think a lot of you UK listeners listen when we are talking about DAZN and trying to infer what we're thinking. And trying to expect what we're thinking and saying, not actually listen to us. You cannot honestly say that a Canelo fight and a Canelo month is on par with Andrade Keeler. You can't honestly say that. Because Andrade Keeler is only for the hardcore boxing fans. It's not even for the casual boxing fan, let alone the casual sports fan, which DAZN needs to become a big market leader. Canelo does that to a degree because it's Canelo Alvarez, right? But Andrade Keeler isn't that. That's what I'm talking about. It's a good card. I think it's actually, the more I think about it, I think it's a decent card. Especially take away the Jake Paul fight. If I just put my finger above that and ignore that one, right? It's a really good card. I'm okay with it. It's one of DAZN's better throwaway cards, so to speak, because it kind of feels like it is.
Please respect the WBC amateur champion.
Stop.
Fact.
But you cannot honestly say that Andrade Keeler attracts the casual sporting fan like a Canelo fight does. It doesn't. And that's just not even arguable, I would say.